Ooh, we got one. Look at that. All right, possible exploit we can run here with an excellent chance that this will be successful. So now we have to get in Metasploit mode. Hey everybody, welcome back to another Nielsen Networking video. All right, so that preview you just watched at the beginning of the video, that was the end result of a scan I performed using the security tool, which I will be showing you how to use in this video. The security tool is known as Nikto. Now, how did I do it? Well, first I ran a scan using Nikto. Go figure. The results of that scan showed that there was a vulnerability in a web server on the network. I was then able to leverage those scan results with another security tool known as Metasploit. Using those two tools together, I was able to exploit the web server and gain root access. All right, well, as amazing as that condensed version of the video sounded, let me now take you step by step through the entire process so that you'll better understand how I got from point A to point Z. So moving forward, you hopefully will be able to replicate that and do the same on your own. All right, before we move on to anything else, let me give you a quick description of what Nikto is. And what it is it is a vulnerability scanner that scans websites, web servers, web applications, anything and everything web related. And it goes out and looks for misconfigurations, incorrect directory permissions that allow uploading, downloading of files that shouldn't be. It looks for anything that is not standard or best practice and reports it back to you. All right, now that we have an understanding of what that is, let's get an understanding of the environment for this video. It will be performed in this whole entire video will be performed in my private virtual box infrastructure. And the machine we're going to be using to do the scans will be this Kali Linux box. And the other machines that we will be scanning against are going to be a Windows 7 machine, Ubuntu running WordPress, Metasploitable server running Apache, and another web server running Apache. That said, let's get to our first scan. All right, let's get this party started. And Nikto is built into Kali Linux, so we don't have to install any software, so that's rad. We're going to start with Nikto, and we're going to do a -H. And this is kind of the standard for almost all Nikto scans. You're going to do a Nikto -H, and then you're going to put in the IP or the domain. And we're going to start this off using scanme.nmap.org, which is a free site that Nmap puts up that you can go out and scan and try different types of Nmap scans against it. But we're going to use it Nikto on it. So let's give it a shot here and see what we get. All right, and first thing we notice is it gives us an IP, so it's doing name resolution. That's nice. Shows us that's the scan ran on port 80, not 443, so it didn't run for SSL. I don't believe they actually do have an SSL site, or certificate, so that makes sense. A couple things right here. It shows you the web server version. It shows you the operating system version. That could be useful right there. And look here, it tells you right here that version of Apache is outdated. So right there, you'd want to take that information and go look. Or is there a vulnerability for this version of Apache out there? Could this be a vulnerability right there in itself? A couple other things down here, images, directory indexing found. This means you could, well, let's just show you. We could go to scanme.nmap.org and do images. And when you browse there, it will actually show you the files and folders that are in that directory. So meaning, I guess they're not concerned if anyone sees their logo, which I guess isn't a big deal. But if you were to do this on a site that was misconfigured, or maybe someone uploaded something that wasn't supposed to be there, or whatever have you, it could lead to a vulnerability. So those are really the only things I noticed out of this scan that are big gotchas. So let's go ahead and clear this up and get on to the next thing. All right, next thing, if you wanted it to search a secure site, meaning it's using SSL, you would just add the -SSL switch at the end of the domain like such. Go ahead and hit enter. It will do the scan. And assuming there is a secure site using SSL, it will scan both the non-secure port 80 and the secure port 443. And as I thought, there is not a secure version of scanme.nmap.org. So on to the next thing. All right, and for the next part of this video, I want you to go ahead and imagine the following. You've been hired on by a company to perform an internal vulnerability scan of their network. They've given you the subnet range, and they've given you roughly an idea of how many servers and workstations and printers and all that fun stuff they think they have on their network. That's all you have. Now, for the sake of this video, I want you to imagine within that scope of work, you were assigned just to look for web servers. So with that in mind, I would suggest this is the path I would follow if I were in that position. I would start off with not a Nikto scan, I would start off with an Nmap scan, and I would start off with an Nmap scan specifically scanning for devices with port 80 open. And then I'm going to run it against the subnet, and I'm going to tell it to output in this greppable format. That way, when we get to the next stage, you'll see why I'm going to do this as a greppable format. But that would give me the scan I need. It would throw it into this IP list, and then it doesn't go out and scan every single server out there, which could take forever. And specifically, if you tried doing this with Nikto, it would take hours. Where look, I already have the results here. So at this point, we can now cat the IP list. And there's going to be one problem with this. It's going to give us all the IPs that are on my network, right? But what we need to do is we need to grep, hence why I wanted it greppable, this exact phrase. So what we would do is we would do cat IP list dot text. We put this in here and we would grep in quotes that specific thing. And that's going to return, oops, my bad, I screwed that up here. I sounded all important, right? We need to put open. And here you go. That's how I should have done it the first time. So these are going to be the 4 machines we're going to want to scan against. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and open up Nano, and I'm going to create a second IP list with just those 4 machines in it that I can then feed to Nikto to have it scan just those 4 devices to speed up the process and eliminate scanning devices that aren't even on port 80. So I'm going to go ahead and do IP list 2.text. Then I'm going to put in 10. And I'm going to save it and exit out of it. And at this point, we can then cat IP list 2.text to see that we are correct. So we're good. Now we're good to run our next command in Nitko. All right, and that command is going to look like this. Now let me break this down to you. Obviously, this is Nikto, the command, -H as always, and instead of doing a domain or an IP, we're going to do an IP list, and this has the 4 servers that we put in it in the previous steps. And the -O is going to tell it to output Nikto _results.csv, and then here is where we actually tell it to use the format CSV, because even though we put CSV here, if you put format HTML, it's going to export it in HTML even though it says CSV. So this is actually what we're going to do. And formats that are available are XML, HTML, CSV, SQL, and Nessus. I think there's a Nessus format that you can export it out and have it imported in. So anyway, let's go ahead and run this command and we'll check the CSV file when it's done. All right, and the scan has completed. So let's go ahead and take a look at that CSV file. Let's just check out its size real quick. So it's about 10 megabytes. Okay, so let's go ahead and check out that CSV. All right, to check that out, we're gonna go here, we're gonna open it up, and we're gonna zoom in a little bit so you can actually read it. All right, first machine looks like it's, whoops, what did I just do? Looks like it's actually our Windows 7 machine, and it's running IIS 7.5. That may be a vulnerability on its own, just running that old of a version of IIS. So you could, go ahead and go out and Google it. The server is also running the trace method, or offering the trace method, which isn't really a vulnerability per se. I guess it's more, well, it is. It could offer up information that could be helpful in further trying to find a vulnerability for that machine. But it's nothing I would even consider like a high vulnerability chance, maybe a medium. And then moving on, 2.13. Okay, this one looks like it has a lot, so we'll come back to that in a minute here. Let's try to get through the other ones real quick. And 10.0.254. This is going to be that Ubuntu server that I built not long ago that's running WordPress. Looks like it's running a modern version of Apache. And I'm not seeing any real red flags sticking out here. This is interesting. WordPress login found. This is kind of a false positive because actually all this page right here is the actual login screen for WordPress. So maybe it should have said like login page. But anyways, scrolling on down to 2.14, and this has a lot on it too. A lot of directory indexing. Again, that is where you could put this path with this IP and see what's in that directory. And sometimes people, like I said, leave files up there, they upload things and forget to delete them once they've been, taken where they needed to go or things like that. And it's actually reporting a CVE here. So you could Google this and go actually get more details, but it tells you right here, the remote server may allow directory listings through web publisher by forcing the server to show all files via open directory browsing, which is exactly what you do when you go and open a web browser. So we were kind of aware that was going on already. So let's go ahead and check out 2.13. All right, and the first thing it's telling us is that we are on this version of Apache, which I believe is old. It should tell us right here. Appears to be outdated. Yes, so it's outdated, so that alone could be a vulnerability. And then next, look at this information. It's telling us both the version of PHP it's running and the version of Ubuntu it's running. So both of those are red flags. Oh, there's a lot. It has the trace method available. Let's see. Oh, what's this right here? Apparently there's an Apache module that is enabled that allows attackers to easily brute force file names. Wow, okay, so there's a lot here we could look at. Let's just scroll down real quick. PHP admin changelog. Wow, so that's used for managing SQL databases. There's a test directory that this might be interesting. Oh, look at this. Okay, let's check this out. I know this is a file that should not be public. So let's go ahead and take a look and see if we can actually get into it. So if I can do this, 13/php info. Wow, okay. This is a big no-no. And I wonder if this is where it's getting that powered by information. Anyway, so look, it's showing us all this different server information, configuration information. Wow. Wow, okay. Just a bunch of information that the public, wow, it even has my SQL information. Wow. A bunch of, oh, look at this. My goodness. Open SSL information. It has a bunch of stuff that you would not want the public knowing about. Look at all that stuff. Additional modules, environment, PHP variables. Yuck. This is bad stuff to have out. So what we're going to do, let's try and take this PHP version here and see if we can find a vulnerability for that. And if not, let's see if we can find one for this version of Ubuntu. But first, let's try this. So let's go ahead and put this here. Vulnerabilities, if I could spell. And here we go. Let's see what we got. So as you scroll down here, there's quite a lot of them. Let's start with this 10. And what I want to do is I want to take that 10 and I want to open Metasploit and see if there's a exploit module in Metasploit for that CVE. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in this MSF console. And if you don't know how to use Metasploit, or you want to further your knowledge, I have 2 videos on the tool, and I go into both the pre-exploitation phase and the post-exploitation. So I actually show you how to use Metasploit to exploit machines, and then I show you what can be done after the fact. So go ahead and check those videos out. I think they're 3 and 4 in my series. So this is Metasploit. It's very fun. Every time you log in, you're going to get a different little picture here. It's very fun. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to search for this CVE and see if we get anything. And let's go back here and let's do a paste in here. No results. Okay, no big deal. We got a lot of options to play with here. Oops, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go here. Let's see what else we have. We have another one. Let's try the 7.5er right here. Let's go back here. Search again. Ooh, we're 0 for 2. All right, let's give this one more shot and then we'll try the Ubuntu. So let's go ahead. Let's just continue down the line here. All right, cross your fingers here. We're going to go search, paste. Ooh, we got one. Look at that. All right, there we have a possible exploit we can run here with an excellent chance that this will be successful. So now we have to get in Metasploit mode. So what we're going to need to do is set our, actually, let's look at our options. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm so getting ahead of myself. We're going to need to use 0 to select the exploit. We'll go with the default payload. If we need to change it later, we will. And then let's look at our options. And it already has us set as the local host, so we're money there. But we do need to set the R host. The R host is going to be the remote machine we're going to attempt to exploit. And luckily this is my own machine, so we're able to do this. So we're going to go ahead and put in set R hosts 10.0.2.13. And then all we're going to do is hit run. And cross your fingers here. Let's see if we can get in. Boom. Just like that. we're in. Don't believe me? Linux, right here. Oops, it won't let me clear. I forgot. I'm in Meterpreter, and what Meterpreter is, it's actually a shell that runs in memory. You have a successful exploitation. So what we can do though is we can look at and see where we're at. All right, so let's just go up here. You can see I'm on a Linux machine, and let's see if we can get into root. Here I am. There's root. And at this point, I have complete control of the machine. Just off using Nikto to find that server, tell me what's open on there, what information is out there available, I was able to then take that, leverage another tool, and get access to this machine. So obviously this would be a very big problem for that client I said that we were imagining we were doing a vulnerability scan for. This would be a big red flag because you've now proven that you could gain access to this server. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here now. And I think now you've seen what it can do. I've shown you the basic scans, how to run it using SSL. I think at this point we are good for at least this version of Nikto. If you need any questions answered, you can throw them in the comments. If you have enjoyed this video, please feel free to like it, subscribe so you don't miss future content. This is going to be video 6 in the series. I plan to continue to keep putting them out. So that said, I'm going to call it a end of the video because it's actually getting late here where I live. So you have a great rest of the day wherever you are. Thank you very much for watching the video.